Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's the thing. For those listening to podcast services, you are largely unaffected. At the same time, however, if you are listening on Mixer right now, then you may be having some issues with the video. And for those listening on to VODs later on, you may be saying, Sam, why aren't you on Twitch? And the reason behind that is because I wanted to try something new. So that's pretty much the first piece of news. But before we get into that, we will talk about what exactly we have going on here. So, for those that may have missed the announcement or may not be tuned into every piece of content that I do end up making, I have chosen to kind of go in a path that I tried a couple of weeks ago that I kind of bailed on because I was nervous because it's a brand new thing for me. And I'm going to be trying live streaming on Mixer, including stuff like this show that you are watching right here. The main reason for the switch is because of the fact that there is this technology that allows, very low latency response times between what's going on the screen and what's happening in the chat, so I can see you guys much quicker as compared to what I would be doing on Twitch. So essentially, we can have a conversation that flows a bit better. We can have some genuine feedback with what topic is being discussed. It's genuine live streaming over on Mixer to the fullest extent. In fact, if you use one version of Mixer, which is the FTL technology, then in fact it is less than 1 second worth of latency, so I can see what you say in chat almost instantaneously. That really lends itself to making live content, that lends itself to an interactive podcast like I want this to be. And so from now on, whenever we're doing the morning show, we're going to be doing it right here on mixer.com/thesamueladams, and on top of that, all of the other content that I make is going to be right here on Mixer. I will also be doing some other stuff that I may not have chosen to do on Twitch, because this is essentially a fresh slate. I've downloaded the Mixer Create app. If I have some time to kill in between classes, in between doing some kind of assignment, just hanging out in my room, maybe out for a walk or a run somewhere, I might just, boot up the stream, see what happens, do a little bit of IRL streaming, because you never know when you're going to be the guy that suddenly discovers something new. With that being said, those that may have never seen what's going on, Razum, are we live? We are in fact live. Thank you for making the trek over to check out what we've got going on over here on Mixer. But yeah, so for those that may have never seen Caffeinate, it's essentially a morning show where I sit down, break down the hottest news that happened in the past 24 hours. Oh my goodness, we got a... Welcome to the brewery, Razum. Welcome to the brewery, my man. Welcome to the brewery. But Caffeinate is a show that happens every single morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, I suppose now, right here on mixer.com/thesamueladams, where you can check out all of the hottest gaming news that's happened in the past 24 hours, catch up on everything, grab a cup of coffee, have a good time in the chat. It's always an enjoyable part of my morning. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the news, because that is enough housekeeping for right now. Now, the first thing I did want to talk about is the fact that we do have a new Ghostbusters game coming out, and everybody hold on to your butts, because this is quite the interesting one right here. I wanted to show exactly what was going on here. I don't want to show all of the gameplay though, because I worry about copyright things. But this is essentially a direct copy of Pokemon Go, where it uses augmented reality kind of technology to allow you to catch ghosts via your cell phone. Okay, you are literally catching ghosts via your cell phone, as you can see in the image that I have displayed on the screen right here. For those that are listening to the podcast, it's just like Pokemon Go, except you are actually catching ghosts and you are walking around downtown. LB says, OMG, the app works now. That's fantastic. Maybe it's because I went live. You see what happens whenever I switch platforms? Things just start working. You never know what's going to be the thing that triggers the amazing response. But this new Ghostbusters thing looks fantastic. It looks like so much fun. I don't know why this looks so much more appealing to me than something like Pokemon Go, but at the same time, this is just a unique idea. I dig it. I like the fact that this person commented and said, "Who's that Pokemon?" That's Slimer. That is Slimer. Razum, you might want to refresh. You may want to refresh, because I had some issues with that as well. I know that I was having some issues with that as well, with not being able to see the stream. Again, it's going to be a work in progress for the live content. This is also being recorded, so I can upload it later to podcast services around the world, as they say. But yeah, so Pokemon Go is getting a little bit of a new coat of paint, so to speak, and we are sitting here with Ghostbusters. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Will it be successful? Oh no, this won't be successful whatsoever. There's no chance in hell of this thing taking off and becoming something big like Pokemon Go. But again, that's what we all thought about Fortnite, and now look at what happened to Fortnite now. Will the new Ghostbusters mobile game become the next Fortnite? No. No, it won't. Moving along to the next story, that was more of a bonus than anything. YouTube rolls out a new feature that lets you quote-unquote go live from the desktop without an encoder. This is coming to us from TechCrunch's Sarah Perez. You can follow her on Twitter at Sarah in Tampa. That's a good username right there. YouTube today is rolling out a new feature that will allow video creators to start a live stream from their webcam without downloading encoding software, which can be complicated to set up. And now streamers will be able to click the Go Live button in the YouTube header to start the stream, or visit the URL youtube.com/webcam. No additional configuration will be required. The company says the feature currently works only on the Google Chrome browser, but it will expand to other browsers in time. Before today, YouTube users would have to use encoding software to capture content, including their desktop camera and microphone, and send it to YouTube to be live streamed. And by encoding software, we mean things like OBS, things like XSplit, things like Bebo. Perhaps you could use that. I believe you might be able to stream through YouTube. Gonna try to sleep. Just wanted to say hi. Yo, LB, get some sleep. Thanks for making the trek over to Mixer. I know it's weird for a person with a Twitch tattoo to be watching a live stream on Mixer, but hey, that means the world to me. That means the world to me. But this new feature is meant to make the process of live streaming from the desktop easier and quicker, which could potentially enable more YouTube users to take advantage of the functionality. YouTube has already been testing an early version of the software with a handful of creators, including Raw Beauty Christie, who used it for a beauty tutorial, saying, "Normally you have to use encoder bullshit, but this is so much easier this way. I feel like I'll live stream way more with this." Was she paid to say that? I suppose we'll see, won't we? The addition comes at a time when live streaming market is heating up, with competitors like Twitch for game streams, Twitter's Periscope, and Facebook Live all vying for a piece of the action. Facebook in particular has been targeting the creator community, including with this week's launch of a Patreon clone for subscription patronage and other ways to allow creators to make money. LB says, Mixer is cool, FTL is awesome, but yeah, only here for you basically. Have a good day. Yo, you have a good day too. And I appreciate you being here for me, which I don't know why that's still mind-boggling to me that people like come to another platform for me. That's kind of neat to me. I don't know. Maybe that means something. Who knows? But the company has also scored deals with several device manufacturers, including Asus, LG, Motorola, Nokia, and Samsung, who will all add a live stream feature directly in their camera apps on select upcoming devices in the months ahead. The feature, which takes advantage of the new YouTube mobile live deep link, is expected to come to other devices throughout the year, says YouTube. Oh, Decky. Hola, amigo. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás? Bien, y tú? This is fast. It is, in fact, fast. That's the main reason that I switched, because we can have direct interaction. It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. So, essentially, this is allowing anybody to live stream directly through their desktop. And that is a very, very powerful device to have. And also, I have had confirmation that for cameras like this, where it is a cam link plugged into your computer... Yo, we have a host from Decky. Thank you very much, my friend. Whenever you are live streaming directly through the app itself, then you are, you are really reaching out to people and creating content that is on a different level, I would say. Live content is very much so different than what you were doing with pre-recorded stuff. Whenever I make a YouTube video, it has less soul to it. It has less raw, in the words of Bill O'Reilly, F it, we'll do it live, so to speak. It's a very different kind of experience whenever you're making live content, and one that people tend to enjoy because they get to see the real raw side of you. They get to see what you actually have going on. And so, this is what YouTube is trying to get. This is what Facebook Live is trying to get. This is what Mixer is trying to do. This is what Caffeinate is trying to get. This is what Twitch, there are so many people that are trying to really go after this feature where you get to really see the raw, who a person actually is, and on top of that, also get access to whatever content they may be making in a live form. With the addition of the desktop live streaming app and the inclusion of it in camera apps that are going to be coming pretty much in just a couple of new phones down the line, that's going to be a big game changer. And it could push YouTube back into the game, because for right now, YouTube gaming has kind of been pushed out of the side. It's not that it's not that big of a deal or anything like that, but at the same time, it seems to have fallen to the wayside in comparison to things like Facebook Live, like Twitch, like YouTube, or like Mixer. There are so many different competitors out there that are all, as the article said, vying for a piece of the pie, so to speak. That it's very difficult to figure out which one you want to go on. But with this, it's going to be very tempting to try out, YouTube live streaming. And as somebody who has nearly 1,200 subscribers on YouTube, this could be a very great way to interact with my chat and to interact with my subscriber base that normally wouldn't make it over here to Mixer, or normally wouldn't make it over to my Twitter or my Instagram or anything along those lines. That is a fantastic way to reach out to those people and say, hey, this is what you could be getting. You know, this is exactly how you could be doing things. Now, the question is it just via webcam? Can you capture your desktop? What can be captured, etc.? That's kind of a big deal, you know, and so we'll see how that goes down the line. But as for right now, as somebody who doesn't use Google Chrome, actually switched over to Firefox a couple of months back, this is not going to be something that is reasonable for me. I would download, you know, Google Chrome just for this, but I don't necessarily believe that it has it has what I need. You know, I don't need this kind of live streaming right now because I have all of the encoding software. I have all of the hardware that it takes to really do a live stream, to do a live show, as you can see right here on mixer.com/thesamueladams. And so this is really for those that maybe have a laptop that has a webcam built into it that wants to interact with a chat. It's going to be very interesting to see how this actually ends up working out, and if it is a sustainable thing that does bring new users to the platform. I could see it happening. You know, I could genuinely see it happening. There is a high potential for this to be a big, big turnaround for those that are over there on the YouTube. Any content creators that want to make live content have the option to do it. You know, this is an option that's available on other platforms. I don't know that it's available on Twitch or Mixer. I know that it's not on Twitch. I don't think it's on Mixer. But to be able to just have a very easy access live stream is something that is admirable, that is interesting to say the least. And so it's going to be cool to see how the competition responds to this, how the competition creates new features that may rival these. Very cool time to be into live streaming. Incredibly cool time to be into live streaming. And so with that being said, I suppose we will move along to the next big news story, which is that the all-new, or let's go down a list, excuse me, of all of the new Nintendo Switch games revealed during today's Spring Showcase, and that would be yesterday's Nindies Showcase. And for those that aren't familiar with what a Nindy is, it's essentially a Nintendo indie. So whenever you're talking about a Nindy, you're looking at things like Hollow Knight, you're looking at things like SteamWorld Dig 2, etc. These smaller quote-unquote games that may not be in the limelight as much as their big brothers, but at the same time they are significant, they are major, and you might as well go ahead and give them a look if you're interested in them. So let's check out all of the indies, or the Nindies, excuse me. First off, we have Mark of the Ninja Remastered coming out in fall of 2018. Nintendo started out the event with the news that Clay Entertainment's, I believe that's how you say that, might be Clay, stellar 2D stealth platform Mark of the Ninja is being remastered for Switch. Few details were shared, but it's getting a quote-unquote high-definition remaster for its release on the Switch. Fantasy Strike is coming in summer of 2018. Just Shapes and Beats, launching on Switch before other consoles, Just Shapes and Beats is described as a quote-unquote musical bullet hell game. Bullet hell may be a stretch. We didn't quite see the screen completely flooded with enemy fire, but the game does feature a pleasantly minimalist visual style. It also features a story mode that can be played solo or with friends, and music from 20 different chiptune artists, though none were called out by name. That's disappointing. I would like to hear what artists we're actually talking about, because there are so many chiptune artists out there that I'm somewhat familiar with, that it would be very cool to see what actually ends up happening with something like that. Garage is coming out in spring of 2018. It's a top-down shooter from Tiny Build that Nintendo says was inspired by VHS B movies. You'll deal with zombie-like enemies as you shoot your way through levels using a variety of weapons. Where is this garage? Where is this garage that I want to see? I suppose this would be it. This looks incredibly interesting. This looks super neat. I'm totally down for something like that. We'll have to give that a look-see, because that I love a good classic quote-unquote VHS B-movie look. That sounds pretty intriguing, actually. You'll deal with, yes, so zombie-like enemies, fantastic. We're going to check that one out big time. I'm going to remember that one. That one's on the list. That one is on the list. So next up we have Pool Panic coming out in 2018. From Adult Swim Games comes Pool Panic, where you'll effectively be playing pool, where you're effectively playing pool through a wide variety of unusual locations, like the top of a rocking pirate ship. You'll knock around a cue ball and have to deal with a wide variety of other types of balls that don't conform to what you're used to seeing in billiards. There are more than 100 levels in the game, and support for 4-player local co-op. Pool Panic launches first on the Switch. It sounds neat, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out in the long run. It's a unique idea. God, that's good coffee. Oh, that's delicious coffee. Next up, we have Bomb Chicken coming out in summer of 2018. The aptly titled Bomb Chicken is a 2D platform where you play as a chicken who can lay bombs rather than eggs. Those bombs can then be used to destroy parts of the environment, block incoming fire, or push you up to hard-to-reach places. It sounds like Worms to me. It launches on Switch before other platforms. What does this look like? What does this look like? That actually could very well be that. Let's see. Chicken laying eggs. Chicken laying bombs. What looks like a chicken laying bombs. There we go. I had to download the app. Yes, the app is fantastic, Rasm. It has a couple of issues that you will notice from time to time, but at the same time, it's a work in progress, and it has improved greatly even in the course of the past couple of weeks since I have not been on le plateforme. Next up, Blue Mines Remastered is coming out in spring of 2018. A very cool game that is an HD remake of the original one from Q Entertainment. That was a puzzle game way back in the day. And it includes HD Rumble support that matches up with both the beat of the music and the action on screen, as well as local multiplayer support. Reigns, King and Queens is coming out in spring of 2018. Two existing Reigns games, and they package, yeah, it's fine, it's just a little package. Lightfall is a gorgeous 2D platformer set in Numbra, a forgotten world. You use a magical box called the Shadow Core to navigate the environment. It'll be a timed console exclusive when it releases on the Switch. West of Loathing, a really popular game, surprisingly enough, as a comical RPG where you and everyone in the world is a stick figure. You'll solve puzzles and take part in a traditional turn-based combat as one of several classes. It launches as a console exclusive on the Switch. It's already out on PC if you wanted to check it out. For those that are PC gamers, but it's cool to see it coming to the Switch. I think this is going to be one that really does lend itself to being on the Switch. I think it's a great little fit, and so we'll have to see how that goes, but it certainly is exciting to see. Pod, or Pod? Probably Pod, is a puzzle adventure game inspired by Norwegian art that can be played with a single Joy-Con. Each of the two characters has special abilities they can use to help the duo navigate the world, although it appears to be primarily a two-player co-op game and can also be played solo. So obviously, whenever you have a sentence like this, whenever you have a sentence in the description that says, although it appears to be primarily a two-player co-op game, it can also be played solo, I would highly recommend just not playing it, not playing it solo. You know, you just don't bring that disappointment upon yourself, unfortunately. That's what it comes down to. Then we have The Messenger coming out in summer of 2018. The Messenger is an old-school 2D action platformer where you play as a ninja who acquires a variety of abilities over the course of the game. What distinguishes it more than anything else is the ability to transition from an 8-bit style game to a 16-bit time-traveling adventure. Very neat. Very neat sounding game. Bad North is a game that I've heard a good bit about. It's a blend of real-time strategy and roguelikes. Bad North tasks you with defending small islands. And whenever you lose one of your commanders, they're gone permanently and the game ends completely if you lose them all. It launches first on the Switch. The Banner Saga 3 is officially coming out in summer of 2018, with the Banner Saga 1 and 2 to be coming out soon. I would say soon, within the next 2 months, because I mean, it can't be that hard to port these to the Switch. I'm not really exactly sure how difficult that might be, but at the same time, you never really do know with a port like that. It's cool to see the Banner Saga coming to the Switch because it's always been one of those games where I could very realistically see it actually happening and becoming a feasible thing, where it becomes the game that is on the Switch. It becomes what people expect. It becomes what people like to see. And so I want that to be a good game. I want it to be a good game. I've played some of the first Banner Saga. I didn't play Banner Saga 2 because I wasn't truly interested in it. But at the same time, when it comes down to it, it's a game that people love, and I love it whenever everybody has an option of where they want to see it. You know, and so if you want to play it on the PC, you can play it on the PC. If you want to play it on the Switch, you can play it on the Switch. The Banner Saga is a fantastic little series with some beautiful, beautiful animation and design. And so it'll be cool to see how that actually shakes out in the long run. If you want to watch the entire Nindies Spring Showcase, you can follow the link that is in the description box down below if you are watching in a VOD format, or alternatively, if you want to just Google Spring Nindies Showcase 2018, and you don't have to rely on me for anything whatsoever. You could do that as well. Depends on what kind of person you are and what you're into. Moving along, Ubisoft is safe, quote-unquote. After years of takeover concerns, Vivendi will sell off its stock, and Tencent now owns a part of Ubisoft. So this is kind of a double-edged sword, kind of an interesting little thing. Gonna get a sip of coffee, starting to get dry mouth. The stutter is real if one's internet is not consistently stable, lol. Yeah, you can actually turn off, you can turn off the FTL technology, I believe, and you can get a regular stream that isn't quite as iffy, you know what I'm saying, isn't quite as iffy, and I believe that's somewhere in the settings. I'm not entirely sure. I apologize, Decky, in the chat. We will see what happens. Also, guys, how do you like the tie? Found it this morning laying on the floor. I'm a pretty big fan of it. It also has a little bit of that mixer sheen to it. A little bit of that mixer sheen going on, you know. I am thematic. I am thematic. And also, for those that are listening on a podcast or on a VOD, you're missing out because, well, actually, no, if you're on a VOD, you're seeing this regardless. Let's see what the delay is like without it. I love that face, though. Quote-unquote, from the Chris Pereira article on GameSpot. In recent years, French media conglomerate Vivendi has acquired more and more stock in Ubisoft, fueling concerns that the company would eventually attempt a hostile takeover of the game's publisher. Ubisoft and CEO Yves Guillemot, I'm so bad at saying French things. 5 seconds, pretty cool. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, that's awesome. I'm glad that this is working out really well, actually. Ubisoft, yes, have made it clear they oppose the moves, and now they've gotten precisely what they were seeking, a complete sell-off of all of Vivendi's Ubisoft stock. I missed Kappa lull and seems good already. Yes, the emotes were a thing we missed last time, but it's going to be one of those things where I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it. The news was shared today, with Ubisoft saying it has reached an agreement with Vivendi to sell its entire stake in the publisher. The shares being sold will go to multiple sources. The Guillemot brothers will acquire some, Ubisoft will initiate a buyback for some, and the company will get 2 new quote-unquote long-term investors, the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan and Tencent. The latter is the massive Chinese company that also owns stake in a variety of game companies, including Fortnite maker Epic. This acquisition by Tencent, which amounts to 5% of the company, is part of a new partnership meant to significantly accelerate the reach of Ubisoft franchises in China in the coming years, according to the press release. This is a fantastic thing for Ubisoft. But let's continue reading, shall we? The evolution in our shareholding is great news for Ubisoft, Guillemot said. It was made possible thanks to the outstanding execution of our strategy and the decisive support of Ubisoft talents, players, and shareholders. I would like to warmly thank them all. The investment from new long-term shareholders and Ubisoft demonstrates their trust in our future value creation potential, and Ubisoft's share buyback will be accretive, I suppose, to all shareholders. Lucrative, I suppose, beneficial, perhaps. Finally, the new strategic partnership agreement we signed will enable Ubisoft to accelerate its development in China in the coming years and fully leverage a market with great potential. Yeah, it's going to be my go-to. Probably going to be my go-to there, Decky. So, with this being said, the rest of it goes into a little bit more detail, but that's really all we need. Ubisoft is saved. For those that haven't been following along with this little saga right here, this has been something that has been very, very nerve-wracking for those that have been fans of Ubisoft, for those that have worked at Ubisoft. Essentially, what was happening is a hostile takeover by a company by the name of Vivendi. And now that they have sold off their entire stock, it is going to be a pretty much free reign for Ubisoft to do whatever they want. Vivendi failed. They decided to go ahead and give up on acquiring the company. And ultimately, that is a fantastic thing for Ubisoft. It's also very interesting to hear that Tencent now owns a portion of Ubisoft. And for those that aren't familiar with Tencent, if you download the PUBG mobile app, you will see Tencent Games noted there in the credits before you dive into the game. That's because Tencent is a major player in China. They do a lot of mobile gaming. They do a lot of other stuff. As the article mentions, they do own stake in Epic, which is the creator of Fortnite. It's very interesting to see the rise of Tencent, and it's also very dangerous because if they chose to really do something a little bit shady, they would have a lot of power in the gaming world. They would have a lot of pull. They really do have a ton of influence in the gaming universe. And so, it's going to be interesting to see where things go over the course of the next 5 years. I don't believe that Tencent is going to do anything shady. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. But essentially, Ubisoft is saved. It was very much so a worrisome little thing. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit worried for Ubisoft because you have so many famous Ubisoft franchises that I don't want to see gone. You have Rayman, you have Rainbow Six, you have Tom Clancy's, all of the 8,000 different kinds of games. Far Cry. There are so many good Ubisoft games that you don't want to see, put through the ringer because of some kind of financial thing. Alan in the chat. Good morning, guys. Yo, Alan. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to Caffeinate over here on Mixer. Thank you for making the trek. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, we're trying this, and it'll be fun. Yeah. So that's gonna be cool. I am excited to see where this goes and what Ubisoft has up its sleeve later on in the future. I think that it's going to be a very bright future, especially now that Vivendi is out of the way. It's going to be interesting to see what people say about this, and I would love to see some kind of documentary. I would love to see some kind of documentary later on, and one person that I think would be great for this documentary project would be the guy behind NoClip, whose name escapes me. I can see his face in the back of my mind. But essentially what he does over there at youtube.com/noclip, you can Google it or give it a search on YouTube. He does a whole bunch of documentaries. He does a whole bunch of documentaries within the gaming industry, talking about games that have come out, talking about projects that have been done, and interviewing those that have been involved, and really getting the full gist of what exactly happened, how things happened, what went down, etc. And he does a fantastic job of it, and I would love to see that happen with Ubisoft, to really talk about what it was like about to be acquired, what it was like going through all of these legal fees and all of these things, maybe even an interview with the CEO. That might be shooting a bit high, but it would be very interesting to get an ear on the inside to see what it was like during this acquisition. And so with that, we move on to our next story, which is the Overwatch League is restricting use of Pepe memes from teams. The cartoon, originally used by Matt Fury, is the subject of scrutiny for the Overwatch League. This is coming to us from heroesneverdied.com, an Overwatch community. This is an article by Cass Marshall that was published on the 20th of March. Pepe the Frog cartoon, originally created by Matt Fury, may be the Overwatch League's most controversial ban yet. A spokesperson for the league has confirmed that the teams participating in the league are discouraged from using Pepe the Frog in promotional or social materials. Pepe the Frog was originally part of a comic by Matt Fury Boys Club, centered around the lives of anthropomorphic teenage animals. Over the years, Pepe has lost its original association and is now associated with online hate groups. That's a bit much, you know. I don't know that that is 100% fact. It is to some degree, but it's also associated with just in general online culture. Obviously, that was a little insert from me. The Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, American-based civil rights groups, have classified Pepe the Frog as a hate symbol after he was frequently used by alt-right and white supremacist groups. Rod Slasher Breslau, I believe, maybe, perhaps, originally reported on the Overwatch League cracking down on the use of Pepe memes after the San Francisco Shock player Jay Sinatra posted one to celebrate his birthday. Quite the reach, quite the reach. Does have quite the reach. Let's see. From what I understand, Blizzard reached out to SF Shock Management to ask that Sinatra take down his birthday tweet because it had a Pepe in it, which Blizzard is trying to crack down on in regards to being potentially offensive. That policy has been confirmed by Blizzard, with an Overwatch League spokesperson releasing a statement to .esports that says, quote, "The Overwatch League discourages the use of symbols and imagery that are associated with or used by hate groups, including Pepe the Frog, at Blizzard Arena. It is our policy that if fans comply with this policy, we likewise ask the same of Overwatch League teams and players on their social media accounts." This is not the Overwatch League's first attempt to police controversial online culture. In January, Compete reported that a Pepe sign had been confiscated from fans at the Blizzard Arena. The Overwatch League has been criticized for lack of transparency and moderating player conduct, especially after a recent punishment wave hit 4 Overwatch League players and led to Felix XQC Lingle, maybe, man, these names, parting ways with the Dallas Fuel. Meanwhile, defenders of Pepe argue that the hateful minority group has co-opted an otherwise innocent symbol. Heroes Never Die has reached out to Blizzard for comment and will update the story as it develops. Time to ban the term low gang. Hey, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same thing, Decky. It's pretty much the exact same thing. No, it's not. I'm just kidding. So for those that aren't familiar with Pepe the Frog, hold on. Oh, God, don't ban me. Oh, God, don't ban me. This is all in the name of journalism. This is all in the name of journalism, friends. Okay, so it's stuff like this. It's stuff like this. Stuff like this. Stuff like this. What else do we have? Stuff like this. Yeah. These are what we're talking about. These Pepe the Frog things. And so, obviously, I don't see anything inherently wrong with this, unfortunately. You know, maybe it's just me, but when it comes down to what this actually is, it's just something that's an innocent cartoon. You know, it's just an innocent cartoon. And whenever it has been co-opted by somebody that takes it and uses it for other purposes, that's a completely different kind of element that needs to be addressed. You know, that is something that is a player problem and not a problem with what is being presented in the form of the cartoon frog here. I don't believe that this needs to be something that is banned, but I do believe that there are going to have to be some kind of changes put into place where it won't be used for that kind of thing. And to be honest, the only way that you can impact the use of something that has become such a wide-reaching internet phenomenon like Pepe the Frog is to simply ban it from whatever you're doing, and that's the unfortunate fact about it. That's just what it comes down to. People need to be held accountable for what they post online, and so if you believe that those that post Pepe the Frog are going to be the white supremacist, really hardcore, far right, whatever you might want to call it, people that you don't necessarily want supported in the long term, then you might want to just go ahead and take apart that establishment that Pepe the Frog has. And that's exactly what the Overwatch League is doing. Now, the question is, where do you draw the line with this? You know, where do you say enough is enough, and you go ahead and you say, no, we're not going to be banning this, but just, you know, refrain from doing this, try and keep from doing that? Because essentially, it is just a cartoon frog. It is part of internet culture. It is built into the fabric of what makes a meme. It's one of the original memes, I would say. It's going to be one of those foundational ones that really does build. And whenever we have in 20 years or whatever studies of internet culture in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, then you're going to be seeing entire chapters about these frogs. You're going to be seeing entire chapters about what's going on with this comic. And it's a significant part of history, and it's interesting to see how it's trying to be cracked down on. However, I will say this to back up and to make another point. The Overwatch League needs help. It simply does need help. It has to change because there is so much toxicity within the player base and also within those playing, or the pool of those playing, that there has to be a change made for it to eventually prosper and become something that is a worldwide hit, the likes of FIFA, the likes of the NFL, the likes of baseball. If you want it to be a genuine sport and you want it to be supported as such, then you simply have to be able to market it like that. And whenever you have people that are controversial, whenever you have people that may or may not be 100% in on what you're talking about, then you run the risk of not being genuine to yourself, and so or not being, you know, genuine to yourself, and also open to those that may be a little bit, you know, hesitant about getting into something that is associated with something like a white supremacist, like you know, something that is controversial like that, which is understandable. And so with all those things being taken into account, Pepe the Frog, rip in the Overwatch League. Hopefully it will work out well for you, my little green comrade, I guess, if you want to call it that. I don't know. I don't really care either way. If Pepe the Frog disappeared from the internet tomorrow, I wouldn't care, you know, when it comes down to it. Who really cares? It's not that big of a deal. Just use emotes, man. Just use emotes. There are thousands upon thousands on Mixer, Twitch, any other platform. Just use one of the emojis in your phone. Like I see in my chat right here, like the one with the weird-ass eyes. Like, just go ahead and do that. Moving along. Fortnite Battle Royale's new Blitz mode is fast, funny, and perfect for mobile. Blitz mode is perfect for those who don't have time to try Battle Royale. So, this is coming to us from Polygon's Chris Plant. Ooh, look at his little handle, @Plant. That's fantastic. Look at my dude. Look at my dude. Ooh, he's the co-founder of Polygon. Didn't know that. So, Fortnite Battle Royale's latest limited time event, Blitz Mode, is now available, and it makes a great first impression. It's fast, aggressive, and should become a permanent fixture as the game expands onto mobile devices. Blitz Mode plays like the game's traditional 4-person squad mode if it were stuck on fast forward. Each match begins with a storm cycle already formed on the map. As you drop to the island, the countdown till the circle shrink begins. Matches tend to begin with action as 100 players descend into a handful of towns within the safe zone. Blitz mode is built for quick sessions, which is to say it's lunch break friendly. Matches have a 15-minute time limit, with the storm circle rapidly shrinking from the start, but the actual time of matches, unless you win, feels considerably shorter thanks to an abundance of high-end weapons and gear. In the first few matches I played this morning, I was kitted with a rare and epic gear within the first couple of minutes, and I was killed by similar weapons and gear in roughly the same amount of time. Blitz mode doubles as the harvestable resources to maintain this faster pace. It increases treasure chests and loot boxes and decreases the time between supply drops. Taking even a short break feels risky, turning healing and shield boosting into its own risk/reward scenario. The mode speed would be frustrating if the game didn't play and run so well. Losing a match in the first couple of minutes isn't so bad when you're able to quickly hop into another, nor does being obliterated by fancy weapons feel like a drag when you get so many chances to try some of the game's rarest and best guns. At its best, the abundance of weaponry in Blitz mode transforms the game into a funny cartoon. In the first minute of one round, I landed in a courtyard, maxed my shields, hacked through a brick wall, and was immediately blown up by a remote explosive, except the shields kept me alive. I grabbed my fancy rifle off the floor, blasted my attacker to the ground, and then refilled my health with a nearby kit. I don't know why he, I don't know why there's an entire paragraph of that. I guess just an example of what's going on. Blitz mode flexes the strengths of Fortnite Battle Royale in its current state. The mode's speed particularly suits the mobile version currently in beta. Epic should consider making the mode a permanent addition now that the game lives on a platform that favors short breaks rather than the long, focused sessions that traditional Battle Royale modes demand. For this reason, it's easy to... I looked away from the screen. See Blitz mode taking root in high school cafeterias and public spaces where the game has already established a considerable fan base. It's easy to imagine kids bent over their smartphones between classes, or, I will insert here, in class, chasing the next tier upgrade with occasional 5 to 10 minute match. In a way, Blitz mode reflects Fortnite itself. It's moving faster and with greater aggression than its competition, along with its rich season passes, its other experimental limited time modes, and push to be playable anywhere at any time. Fortnite and its creator Epic Games clearly intend to be the last one standing in the genre that's getting more crowded by the day. This was a just beautiful article. I loved everything about this. Great job to at Planth. He did very well with this. But Blitz mode, it didn't appeal to me. I gave it a good shot. You know, I gave it a shake a couple of days ago on stream. But when it comes down to what the game mode brings to the table, it's just not for me. I like the long game, and on top of that, this one also felt a bit more hectic. It's a bit more hectic. What do you mean? Can we talk about how it's only iPhones? Says Alan in the chat. It's also on Android right now, I think. No, actually. No, it's coming to Androids very soon. It's coming to Androids very soon. The way that it's rolling out is that iOS is going to have an event invite, or an invite event, excuse me, and then in a couple of weeks, once that one's been taken care of, then Android is going to start rolling out. So it is coming at some point down the line, and so you will be able to play Fortnite Battle Royale on Androids, and also on, I would assume, Android tablets as well. And I've also heard a couple of rumors that it is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, which wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, and would actually be a big boost to the Switch itself, as if the Switch could get any bigger, you know, which is going to be it's going to be talking about that's going to be in an article that we talk about in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned for that. Alan says, as an Android user, I am sad. It'll be out in a couple of weeks, man. It's all about patience. Yo, King, what's happened? Sam, I managed to. Oh no, what did you manage to do? Yo man, welcome to the chat. Welcome to Caffeinate. I'm going to assume you managed to get up early and watch Caffeinate. I'm going to call it. Make it. There we go. Call it. Yes, so with Blitz, it's a cool little game mode. I don't know the longevity of it, but I do believe that this game should add Blitz as a current, you know, regular mode. I think that it's going to be a beneficial one in the long run because, as the article points out, those that are playing on mobile don't want to sit there for 30 minutes. They don't want to sit there for 25 minutes playing a game, grinding a game, trying to get through one match whenever they can play 5 to 10 minute rounds and you can get in 4 games on your lunch break, you know, depending on what you got going on. That is a huge, huge benefit if they can, in fact, nail that feeling of being in a Battle Royale game. And I think they do it very well. Because it does, you know, multiply the amount of stuff you get from breaking down components. You do get a whole bunch of more ammo, a whole bunch of better weapons. The changes that have been made to the game to make Blitz mode they're all good. They're all benefits. They're all fantastic. I think that it's going to be a fantastic addition to the lineup for Fortnite and for the Battle Royale genre overall. I think it's a game changer, and I think it's going to be a great, great way to do things in the future. Moving along, Apple will reportedly reveal iPhone X Plus in September. The iPhone X Plus will reportedly sport a 6.2-inch OLED display. Great for your Fortnite games if you are into Fortnite Mobile or PUBG Mobile as well. Although I don't like this little diddle right here. I don't like this little cutout that we have at the top of the iPhone. Not really a big fan of that. But this does come to us from IGN, and this is Alex Gilyadov. What a name that one was. Apple will reportedly reveal the iPhone X Plus this September, and it'll be the biggest iPhone ever. Forbes reports the iPhone X Plus will sport a 6.2-inch edge-to-edge Retina display instead of the rumored 6.5-inch with an LED display. The screen size will allegedly be similar to the Samsung S9 Plus, but wider and shorter. I was going to make a joke there, but I think I'm just going to keep it something about wider and shorter. Apple is also set to make some minor changes to the iPhone X, including adding a new color option and integrating faster components. I would hope so. Reports earlier this year suggested Apple is working on 3 new iPhones for release later this year. The trio of smartphones reportedly include the large quote-unquote phablet, which is most likely the iPhone X Plus, a new phone similar to size to the iPhone X, and a cheaper model with fewer features. Alan says, Kappa Kappa. There is no Kappa here. King says, have you heard about the new God of War trailer and its release date? We did. And the release date, did it change? Did it change? April 20th. It's always been April 20th. I thought that was already like stated, or maybe it was spring 2018. Fantastic 420 man turn up. Let's see. Yes, so that's fantastic. But yes, I did see the new God of War trailer. It's great. I can't show gameplay, unfortunately, on the show itself right here on Caffeinate because of the fact that I do export it to YouTube and stuff like that. However, I have seen the new God of War trailer, and let me tell you that gameplay is spicy. I actually talked about it yesterday on the episode of Caffeinate. It's up on YouTube. It's up on podcast services, etc., etc., if you wanted to check that out. But the iPhone X is certainly interesting. The iPhone X Plus is going to be a big boy, it seems. It's going to be a big boy. 6.2-inch screen is going to be a game changer. Now, for me, I just recently upgraded to the iPhone 7, and I will say that as far as iPhones go, this is my first iPhone, and I'm in love with it. I love this phone. What actually happened is that I was supposed to get the iPhone 7 Plus, but it just didn't ship. I guess they signed me up for the wrong one or whatever, and I didn't feel like going through the process of trying to replace this phone, get the right phone, send this one back without getting cracked, you know, go through the paperwork, try and get a new plan set up because they probably had to change plans from this one to the next one, get a new SIM card. It was all just a big pain in the ass. So I chose to just suck it up and get this phone and keep it, and surprisingly enough, this is fantastic. I love this iPhone. I think I'm going to be keeping it for a very long time, at least for 30 months, because that's when my contract's up. I might buy myself out of that early. But King says they're all the same anyway. Sam, you didn't miss much. All of these iPhones, you mean? Yeah, they're all pretty much the same. However, with the iPhone X, I like the fact that it is trying to be at least a little bit innovative whenever it comes to you know, what you've got going on with the cutout here on the phone itself. I think that's a great little addition that is definitely pushing a new idea that normally wouldn't be seen. And will phones kind of, you know, try to keep up with this is kind of up in the air. I don't know that this little cutout is going to be a thing that maintains for a while. However, I think it's the first step to getting rid of this little divot altogether and just having one big screen. That would be a lot of screen space, because I feel like this is the direction it's trending, completely and totally bezel-less phones. No one likes bezels on monitors, on phones, on tablets. Nobody likes that stuff. And so to see it coming to the iPhone X in a way, shape, or form where it's got this cutout, and then to see it, you know, getting a couple of extra square footage, I guess, a couple of extra inches of space, probably a little bit much as compared to what the iPhone X actually is. It's cool to see it making its way to becoming something that is what I want the iPhone X to be. Especially in a world where mobile games are becoming such a genuinely viable part of the gaming space, it's imperative to have a phone that can handle something that looks good, runs well, and is interactive and can actually keep you engaged for hours and hours on end. I think that's a major factor when it comes to what you've got going on with a phone. And so the iPhone X Plus looks to be getting closer and closer to what I want that to actually be. Will it work out? We'll have to see. I suppose it will be revealed in supposedly September. I'm interested in this cheaper model with fewer features. Will that have the internals of something like an iPhone 8, but will it have the portrait mode or something of you know, of the iPhone X? We'll see what happens with that and all of the brand new amenities and stuff that came with the iPhone X. It'll be cool to see. If I was to get one of these three models that they talk about here in this trio of smartphones reportedly coming out, I would say that I'd probably just get the cheaper model, because I'm a simple man. You know, I watch a couple of YouTube videos, I watch a couple of streams on Twitch and Mixer, and when it comes down to it, I don't need that much. You know, I'm a simple man. I don't need something that has, you know, the graphics to be able to be plugged into some kind of dock and displayed on a monitor. I don't need that in my life. Somebody else might, a businessman might, but I simply just need an iPhone that can make phone calls and check Twitter, because that's essentially all I do. I collect news stories for this show throughout the day, and then I text people that to let them know that I'm still alive and I didn't die in a ditch whenever I flew off the road in my car. Also, did not fly off the road in my car. Just to be very clear with that. So yeah, if I had to choose one, I get the cheaper model, but that's what we've got with that story right now. Moving along to another IGN story. CD Projekt Red opens third studio to work on Cyberpunk 2077. This is coming to us from IGN, as I said, with Brian Barnett. CD Projekt Red is opening a new studio in Wrocław, Poland, to aid in the development of upcoming title Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red announced the new Wrocław studio, I believe is how you say that name, is made up of 18 veteran game developers and largely comprised of former members of Wrocław-based developer Strange New Things, which in turn was created by former Techland and IO Interactive developers. The Wrocław studio will join CD Projekt Red Warsaw and Krakow. I don't know these names, man. I don't know these names. To help bring the futuristic RPG to life, quote unquote. We're pretty hyped to be on the spearhead of this new office. Pal Zhao Odney, head of CD Projekt Red Roclaw, said, we know Roclaw inside out, and it's an amazing place to make games. The team is strong, and I'm sure we have both the experience and the creative firepower to make Cyberpunk 2077 an even better game. Jeez, these names, they're throwing me off, people. They're throwing me off. Even better game. Wrocław is one of the biggest and most technologically advanced cities in Poland and a playing field for serious creative talent. CD Projekt Red president and joint CEO Adam Krasinski almost said Krasinski because of the guy that plays Jim on The Office, said, I think the scope of our current and future projects, as well as the overall package we're bringing in, will pull in people who are hesitant to move from Warsaw to Krakow. Krakatoa, the founding dev team of CD Projekt Red Wrocław, is already pretty stellar, but I still can't wait to see what happens. What talents we'll discover and new people along the way. So fantastic. Brand new studio opens up. That's pretty much what it comes down to. That's what you need to know. There is a brand new group of people working on Cyberpunk 2077, which means the game is going to be even more impressive than we originally thought. It's going to be one of the biggest games ever made. It's going to be one of the most significant games ever made. It is going to be a major player in the space, because whenever you have a game like The Witcher that had such a high level of success and has become such a game that is ingrained into what the gaming universe has come to know as an open world. You have that studio working on something that is a cyberpunk game set in the future that completely flips that on its head and creates those elements in a different way that normally wouldn't be expected. And so with Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like it's going to have the exact same success as The Witcher, but it's catering to a larger audience that may be into the futuristic setting, that may be into something that is a bit different than what The Witcher brought to the table. Because I loved the look of The Witcher. I loved what the game was attempting to do, but at the same time, it just didn't cater to me. I wasn't a huge fan of The Witcher. I liked the setting, but it didn't drag me in. I didn't put hundreds of hours into it. I didn't put 1,000 hours into the DLC. I wasn't that guy. I didn't even buy the DLC. But I respected it for what it was, because it was a major innovation in the gaming world and the gaming space. And so to see that coming, to see that happening, is a very cool thing. And to see that happening with something that is in a different setting that is more appealing to somebody like me, incredibly interesting. And with this new third studio working on the project, I think the potential is there for it to become one of the most popular games of all time, because three studios working on one game. 3 studios, that's like Call of Duty level development. That is COD level of development. It is mind-boggling to see how much this game has grown. And there will be no microtransactions, of course. Great little additions here. I really have no complaints overall. Looks great, sounds great. I'm totally down. Moving along to this story, which is actually a story within a story. So the February MPD 2018 Monster Hunter repeats as top game in the US. This game is relatively unstoppable. It's fantastic to see what they're capable of over here with Monster Hunter. But here are the numbers for February 2018. Total $995 million, up 23% from $811 million in February 2017. Hardware, $316 million, $397 from PC and console software, and accessories, $282 million. King in the chat says, it's a good game. Yo, dude, you've been grinding that hard. Tons of people have been playing that game. Tons of people have been really digging what Monster Hunter is bringing to the table. I haven't tried it for me. I haven't really gotten into it. I've been thinking about giving it a good rent from ye olden Redbox, but I'm kind of waiting until the PC version of the game comes out, because I know that's where I would spend most of my time playing it. But we'll just have to see how all of that goes down. Now, here's the software list. That's great. I'll go through the top 5. Monster Hunter World, COD World War II, is that still selling? NBA 2K18, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Theft Auto 5, Shadow of the Colossus is sitting at number 6, kind of impressive. UFC 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance, wow, that made it to the top 10, that's fantastic. Mario Kart 8, Super Mario Odyssey, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is at number 13, Bayonetta 2, we're just gonna, it's fine, it just goes down from there. Decky in the chat said, did someone mention Monster Hunter World? Yes, we did. We're talking about it. Alan says, heard about it, haven't played or seen a lot of it. Fighter Z is good, King says. I would agree. I would agree. I've seen a lot of Fighter Z. I haven't actually. I love the mappa thing. You have to type like a little colon. I need to fix this. I need to bend this back. I bought this mic arm used, and it makes the most god-awful noise whenever you fold it down. I don't know why. I feel like I just need to release some tension on it. Maybe I'll just hit it with a hammer and see what happens. But yeah, really cool to see that these games are doing well, especially with Monster Hunter World. But the real story is actually hidden within the middle of the article here, which we will scroll through and try and find. Here we go. This is the actual story. This is the little thing that we've got that I really wanted to point out here. Nintendo Switch remains on a record-setting sales pace, said Piscatella. Quote right here, people. This is the big one. This is the major one. We're gonna zoom in on it, and I've completely lost it. Here we go. Over the first... Wait, Decky says, if you pick up Monster Hunter World, I'm in the squad in a heartbeat. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Over the first 12 months in the market, Nintendo Switch has achieved, listen here, guys, the highest installed base for a console platform in history. It has hit the record and surpassed that record for the highest install base for a console platform in history. The first 12 months. The first 12 months on the market, people. The first 12 months. How insane is that? How mind-boggling is that? Is that insane to anybody else but me? You know? That's fantastic. I can't believe that, you know? Now, with that being said, Sony's PlayStation 4 was the best-selling console in February, but at the same time, just the Switch is unstoppable, people. I don't even like... yeah, deserves a clap. Just one. I very rarely actually play my Switch, and that's probably an issue with me, to be honest. Because I just prefer PC games, and I like playing games that are, you know, something that I can just sit in front of my computer and play. I like having my setup and whatnot. But it's fantastic to see how great the Switch is doing, because we have to take a step back and remember that that the Wii U just a couple of years ago was literally the gravestone that was marking the death of Nintendo. People hated the Wii U. People loathed that thing. People said that Nintendo was done and they should sell off every little IP they have, every whatever they want to sell off. They can make money off of that before they go under. Give me your Switch, I'll play it for you. Yo, listen, it's sitting right there on top of my computer. It's not plugged in. It's not charged. I don't know what games are on it. I think I still have Breath of the Wild. I think I have Sonic Mania. And you can't have it because I paid for that thing and I want to sell it. No, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm probably going to keep it because I've had some people that want to play. And also on top of that, whenever I do go to like conventions and stuff, in the future, it may be interesting. And also, I have a younger family, younger kids that would definitely be down for playing that whenever they come over. And I want to create the next generation of gamers in the Addams family, so to speak. But very cool to see that the Wii U did not, in fact, do Nintendo in, that they came back with a vengeance and are absolutely stomping on the competition. I think that is amazing. I think that's something that is admirable. I think that's something that should be applauded. And so with that being said, Nintendo, congratulations on still maintaining such an incredible level of success. Obviously, it's not in the top games the last 12 months because not everybody has a Nintendo Switch, but you do have games on the Switch in the top 10. And so that's pretty cool. Stream Breath of the Wild. I've thought about it. I might. On Mixer, I've got a little bit more reign to do what I will. And so we might play some Breath of the Wild. I would probably do a fresh run of it. No, I wouldn't. What am I saying? I would probably just continue playing because it's one of those games you can just pick back up and jump back up into. But we might stream some Breath of the Wild. Maybe we'll do that sometime this weekend. I think that might be pretty fun. It'd be a relaxing, chill stream like that. But that pretty much wraps it up for the news that we have got today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Caffeinate. It has been fantastic, starting off with a really strong episode on Mixer. This is probably one of the best episodes of the podcast that I have done. If you're listening later in podcast form, leave me a rating on iTunes, leave me a rating on wherever you might be listening. It helps tremendously for discoverability if you really dig what the show has to offer. And also you can check out all of the podcast and the episodes in the past at anchor.fm/caffeinate. On top of that, if you're in the chat, thanks for chilling. Been fantastic talking to you fine people this morning. I love the fact that Mixer is instantaneous when it comes to what you can see in the chat, what is seen as soon as it is typed. I think that brings a lot to the table as far as podcasting goes. I think that brings a lot to the table as far as communication goes and just having a conversation. I think that's great. Not at the cost of Monster Hunter World, of course. What do you mean? Like with Breath of the Wild streaming that? We'll see what happens. But for those that are watching the VOD, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the YouTube channel, etc., etc. But as for right now, guys, I am going to go grab some coffee. I actually have to be at work in about an hour and a half, so I'm probably going to be heading off instead of doing a little bit of a post-stream wrap-up. But I will be back probably a little bit earlier this afternoon. I'm going to be trying to do a long stream tonight on Mixer because I have a little bit of extra time, so I thought we would go ahead and kick off our time here on the platform in a fantastic way, shape, and form by doing a good bit of time spent on it later on in the evening. I have to go for a run, though. Got to do some things, got to get home from work, etc. Check up on the schoolwork because, again, let's all remember I am a college student, which does suck. But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for checking out Caffeinate, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.